Hey everyone, Piwizo here. Welcome to the channel. Today we got a guest from the Lorcana community. You might actually not have seen him, like physically seen him before. It's TheSugi from LorcanaCast podcast. And then
Hey, how you doing?
hey, I'm doing great. How you been doing, man?
Man, I've been doing great. Life is busy. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline for LorcanaCast, but yeah, it's a rare opportunity to be on video of all things. So
I
here we
know,
are.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
you get used to it type of situation. But you seem really comfortable with everything already. So
yeah.
yeah. And then I actually saw for Lorcana Cast, you guys split up into
Mhm.
multiple like episodes nowadays. Like, do you guys film for like 4 hours? You just have to edit it down.
Well, so we try and keep things to 45 minutes. However, we're terrible at it, and that's fine.
No.
So on average, our podcasts are going for about 60 minutes. But if we're in a groove, so we recorded a show talking about the secondary market.
Yeah.
And so that was about an hour and 40 minutes. So instead of trying to like condense the conversation and interrupt really good conversation,
Mhm.
we'll just go all the way through. And then in post production, I'll just split it in half. So we get
Ah,
the best of both worlds. We record once and we get two shows out of it.
yeah.
But also, we're not trying to like force the conversation to end or like cut people off because like organic conversation and
Yes.
organic podcasting is much more enjoyable to listen to as opposed to reading a script or feeling like you're condensed into all right, you only have 2 minutes, you have to do it in 2 minutes. If you're not done in 2 minutes, we're just gonna like nix you. So that's what happened. We also had a guest, so we had John from lorcanahq.com come on,
Oh.
and we were talking about organized play,
Mhm.
which is a very very interesting topic, but with five people and such a large, vast amount of information to go over. Once we got to 45 minutes, we were just starting to get into the surface.
Yeah.
So it was like, just go the flow, talk as much as you want, and then I'll fix it in post. So I think we got about 2 hours and change of content. So we dropped an episode this week, and then we're gonna drop an episode next week. So it's kind of beneficial for the listeners because we're traditionally a bi-weekly podcast. So every other
Yeah.
week we have a show. So being able to take one recording and punch it out into two shows means you can actually get 2 weeks in a row of content, which is awesome. Super exciting.
Yeah. It's a great podcast. I'll leave information down below of how you can check out LorcanaCast. They're on YouTube and also on other mediums, but I'm just gonna leave the YouTube one because this is YouTube and that's the only one
Yeah.
I'm really familiar with.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? But I'm gonna have to flip the script on you because
Okay.
you normally ask this to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a little bit about yourself, how you
Mhm.
got into the TCGs, and anything
Mhm.
else you want to elaborate on.
Sure. So I started with trading card games. Ooh, back when Pokemon first came out. So that was what's that,
1998,
95?
97, 98.
97. That's
Yeah.
right. So I was playing the video game when it came out, and then the trading card game hit, and I was just completely enamored with it. So I
Yeah.
played Pokemon for years. I competed, and then I discovered Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, as most people do over
Yes.
their lifespan. And so then I became extremely competitive in Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering. And then over time, you get your hands on card games like Legend of the Five Rings, Lord of the Rings trading card
Oh.
game, Doomtown. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw the rounds like,
Yeah.
I was a Scorpion player myself
Oh,
because
Scorpion. Oh, we had
yeah,
natural enemies then.
yeah. I was either Scorpion or Crane because I love Control like with all my heart.
Nice. Crane was awesome.
What else? I mean, like, there's not many games I haven't played if I can get my hands on it. So like, the Star Wars trading card game, Star Wars Destiny, the Star Trek trading card game. I there's a long list. The Digimon's actually pretty fun too. But
Like the original one from like the 1990 Bandai one or the newer one?
I liked the original one because it was very rock paper scissorsy. It wasn't like
Yes.
super
Yeah.
competitive, but it was just fun to play with friends.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
new one is fun-ish. Um, you just it's kind of expensive for what you get.
Yeah.
Also, the community here is not super big. I think it's like I could be wrong. It's been a while. It's been a couple years, but last time I was there, it was like 10 people. So it's hard to justify the amount of money you have to spend on that game for like a 10, like it's just
Mhm.
too small,
Fair
way
enough.
too small.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if you have a big locals with like 20, 30 people, that's great. But if you have like, just enough people to fire off a pod, it's like, I don't
Yeah, that's
know.
the thing. It's like most of my local LGSs, they mainly focus on like Pokemon Magic and Weiss Schwartz. Like I think those are the three biggest ones.
Really?
Yeah, there's tons of Weiss players here.
Hmm.
Yeah. I,
Interesting. So
I'm in
that's cool.
I'm in Canada though, so maybe there's more of a
Uh
more of a weeb community, I would say.
I mean, like I've played Weiss. I collected the Sword Art online, both
Oh,
sets.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have all four of the signed foiled art cards, which are like hidden away. I'll never ever touching those. I did see my friend just showed me there was a Japanese exclusive Star Wars Weiss Schwartz set that is, yeah, you need to look it up because they
Yeah.
have like alternate art that's never been used on a card game anywhere.
Yeah.
And all of the Weiss Schwartz is in full Japanese. They have shoot, what sign cards do they have? I think they have Ray, Kylo. I can't remember. I'm gonna get
Oh,
destroyed on
so it's
comments.
so it's a newer one. So episode 7, 8, 9 then I guess.
Well, there's it's a combination of all seven. It's all nine.
All nine. Yeah.
So I believe I think there's a signed Luke, a signed Vader, a signed Ray, a signed Kylo, and a Han Solo. I
So
think.
so for the sign card, so who signs it? Is it the illustrator or the voice actors? I always wonder for
It's
like that type.
it's a printed signature from the actor.
Okay. Well, okay.
So I don't know if it's their specific signature or if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
one the company got and they're like, let's just stamp it on this card and make money.
No, it makes sense, man. Yeah, no, because like I'm mainly into Pokemon and Metazoo, and
Hmm.
they don't really have like you can get signatures from like Arita or like Poncho
Hmm.
for Metazoo, but it's not like specifically on the card, kind of like
Right.
Weiss or what like the what the sports cards do type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Literally no one here plays Weiss though, so I'm like, bummer, because it's a fun game. But
yeah.
the artwork, the card stock is super good. I love the card stock on that, and like Vanguard, like that thick, heavy card stock.
I don't know. The pull rates are a bit too to me,
For what,
Yeah.
Vanguard or
No,
for
no,
Weiss?
no. For Weiss,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Weiss is terrible. It's bad.
Man, yeah, for sure. No, so that's awesome. So now I guess fast forward to I guess did you get back into TCGs like during the pandemic, or was this like an ongoing
Mhm.
thing throughout your life?
So I've never actually stopped. I've been playing trading card games like my entire life. It's basically trading card games, board games, miniature games. I just am absolutely in love with all games, and I want to learn as much as I can, just because it's what's the word I'm looking for? It can be a very ethereal experience, giving you the
Mhm.
opportunity to learn, to grow, to gather new skills. You meet new people along the way. You
Yeah,
get to go to conventions. I mean, playing in gaming events all my life has allowed me to travel to many cities, which I normally wouldn't have gone to because
yeah,
I'm not just gonna fly out to Chicago for no reason, but I'll go to Adepticon or I'll go to PAX Unplugged or Gen Con or whatever. So there's a wide variety of opportunity there. And then you make friends along the way, you have memories. So
yeah,
it's kind of this rounded experience, but you have to want that because that's not for everybody. And
yeah.
it's also very expensive. Like I'll openly admit, it's
Oh,
not cheap to go to these events multiple times in a year. So it's just kind of built into my budget. But then again, I'm not like heavy handed into other hobbies that other people have.
yeah.
So, you trade a little bit of A for a little bit of B, and then boom, here's your hobby. So that's the fun of it.
Definitely. No, I can understand that from the point of view. Like I don't personally go to a lot of conventions
Hmm.
because I got newer like his familial duties and all that stuff. But yeah, one of the content creators from Metazoo, his name is EpicTube HD. His name's Harley. And yeah, he goes to pretty much all the conventions that Metazoo goes to, and
Hmm.
it's like what, like 7, 8 times a year, and it really costs quite some dough, and also
Yeah.
like just the amount like just how the travel weighs on you and all that stuff. Like you have to like conventions. Apparently, you have to wake up like 5 or 6 a.m. to get in line and try to get stuff or
Depends on the con.
true, yeah.
So if you're going to a convention for product sales,
Yeah.
yes. If you're going to play at a tournament, no. Most tournaments, give or take, you show up at like 10 to drop off your deck list, and then you start at like 11 and you go to like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. There's so many different tournaments. So if you're doing like a big Magic Grand Prix, you're going to get there Friday. Well, I mean, it depends on the day, but you play all day Saturday, and then
Yeah.
if you make it to the top cut, you'll play all day Sunday. If you're doing like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, like a YCS or a Pokemon pop event, it's basically the same thing. It's either like Friday Saturday or Saturday Sunday, but it's going to be all
Yeah.
day.
Oh.
Um, But yeah, if you're going to say like Gen Con, great example.
Yeah.
People get there and line up super early, like 4 or 5 in the morning, because they want to be first in line to get their hands on product.
True.
Where if you don't care about that, you can show up whenever you want, especially if you're showing up for a tournament. Tournament starts at 1 o'clock. Okay, get there like 11.
It's pretty late.
Yeah.
I guess like in my mind, because I'm mainly into the Metazoo community, and then they kind of like, it's mainly products. Like you go to like Collecticons or like New York Comic Con, and then if you're first, if you're like the first like 15 or 20 in line, you get like special like sample cards, which you can either keep in your collection, or some people do prefer to flip it, and then you can kind of like cover your trip pretty much from just the cards that you can get from there.
Which means you're gonna have to wake up really gratuitously early.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I can do that. I'm at that age where it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's great to hear about just all your experience and all that. And it's a lot more than mine, I can say. So I think we're gonna have a really great conversations about just like Lorcana, Metazoo, Pokemon, whatever else we organically flow into, right?
Legends of 5 Rings. Ooh.
Oh man. But,
all right. I gotta ask. Gotta throw a curveball in here.
Sure.
Did you play when AMG had it as a trading card game, or did you play when FFG had it as a LCG?
No. I had it when they first came out. Like I played it in like middle school when they first came out back then. And actually, that's why Rattlings, right? They killed off Rattlings really early on. So
yeah, no Mantis, no Rattlings. I was like,
that's when I actually stopped, because I'm just like, I actually spent quite a few, like I found a lot of my old L5R cards, but then I found out it turned into a living card game, and then I'm like, then it died. I'm just like, oh well, I guess I just
it did.
Rip L5R.
Love that game. I mean, the good news is the trading card game cards from AMG when they had it are cheap, so you can find them. Well, most of them are cheap. I'll specify. So you can easily get decks. And I still play games online with my friends, like old L5R. Like, it's so much fun. It's a great game.
You guys play on like Tabletop Simulator, or where else would they have?
You could do TTS. Yeah, I can do Tabletop Sim, or we'll set up a camera and do that. Same thing with like Netrunner. Oh, that trading card game was so good.
Ooh, that one I'm not too familiar with. Yeah, it just I'll check it out. If it's still alive.
No. Oh no.
Oh, it's not. Oh
no.
Yeah. No. And then you know what? Later on, maybe we can talk a little bit about Magic the Gathering that's going on around. Might not be the big three anymore, right? Let's see what Hasbro does.
No, they're fine. They're not going anywhere. Yeah. But, people are desperate to try and dethrone Magic. I'm like, people did that to World of Warcraft for years. World of Warcraft's going to get beat by Guild Wars. No. Final Fantasy. No. Literally anything, DC superheroes. No, it's fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast just frustrated some people. They've got so much money. They could probably make dud sets for multiple years and still be fiscally viable. So,
ooh, that's a hot take right there. No, I think.
Do you see how much Hasbro makes? It's just obscene. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, but yeah, so I guess let's start with Lorcana, since we're both more versed within Lorcana universe.
Okay.
And yeah, just lately, I don't know. It's hard to really be like too hyped about it. I guess that's the best word, since they haven't released any new news since D23 Expo. It's like we've been high and dry. Has there been any new information leaks? I know like Lorcana HQ, there's like the Ravensburger employees. There's like Sophia and McFly in them. Like they've been really active in talking and stuff, but they've been very like hush hush about everything. So I don't know.
They have to be. They have to be.
You think
otherwise they'll lose their jobs?
That's true. You think it's like a strategic thing that's going on, or maybe like they're still like working on everything? Like Steve, I keep getting their names mixed up. Ryan Miller and Steve Warner, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. Without working for the company, there's no great way to know. So we're just shooting in the dark at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's tricky because as a business person, I feel like they're taking a little bit longer, because you kind of want to have like these hype drops. So instead of doing this roller coaster kind of thing, you want to like kind of tick upwards like a roll, like you're actually going up for the big drop and the big reveal, which would be like a rules reveal or a demo date or something where everyone, you put your hands up, the roller coaster goes down, you're like, yeah. So that's a good analogy because you're thinking about like it's coming out in May. Everyone's excited. So we kind of got this with D23, and that it's flatlined in terms of news. So the question realistically is why, and I think it's a very valid question. I do see from a hype perspective that they're trying to get people really excited. I would hope at the time of this recording, it's what are we in November? So I'm hoping by the end of 2022 we get something. I'm suspicious that they've got something in the pipeline. However, what a lot of people don't know is when you work with Disney, most everything you want to do has to go through someone in the Disney Corporation.
That's true.
So when we were doing a podcast for a game called Star Wars Destiny, Fantasy Flight Games was the company running the game and producing the game, kind of like Ravensburger is with Lorcana.
Yeah.
And over time, we got to talk to the developers, and they would say things about how, like, they wouldn't say anything good or bad, but they would just say, like, we'd ask the same question. Hey, how come this is taking a little longer than we would like?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't explain exactly why, but they're just like, hey, just so everyone knows, everything we do, we have to then send to Disney. They have to approve it, send it back. And if we have to make any adjustments whatsoever, we have to do the same process over again. So Disney in the past, based on prior games that we've, talked about, they want 100% control over everything. Oh. So it is possible that Ravensburger has their game plan set, and they've sent it to Disney, and either Disney changed it, didn't like it, is sitting on it, or there's a million different things that could be happening. So for people who, because the thing is, like, if you think about Magic the Gathering that's produced by Wizards of the Coast, everything is in-house, minus, like crossovers with, like they just did the new Warhammer crossover, stuff like that. But if you think about 99% of Magic the Gathering, they just came out with the pre-release for the Brothers War. So that is a set that was produced, developed, designed by Wizards of the Coast. So if they want to make a adjustment, if they want to change a card or art or a literal word from an A to an an or a then to a they, whatever, they can do it in-house at whatever speed they want because it's their product. If Ravensburger says, well, instead of saying, Mickey Mouse, the Great Duelist, they want to change it to Mickey Mouse Grand Duelist, they literally have to, from experience, we're speculating here, but I'm guessing that they would have to send an email with, what they want to do, and then someone from Disney has to approve it, and then they could actually go to print, which, as you could probably guess, lengthens the process of producing content astronomically because they don't have control in-house. So my speculation, because it's taking a little longer than what we want it to, is maybe there's something going between Ravensburger and Disney. I can't confirm it. I can't deny it.
100%. No worry. We're just like shooting in the dark right now, right?
Yeah. I know someone's gonna like tune in and be like, I heard Sugi say that, and so that's what's got to be. It's like, well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they're
I'm
gonna
speaking from experience
now.
Yeah, right. Like, so that's what I said. So like I feel like that's very probable is why we haven't gotten any news. Because the other thing was, I remember on Twitter, it was like September, they had said that they're gonna like keep an eye on their socials. They're gonna have some announcements to make. That's a long time ago. That was almost 2 months ago.
It was. So
generally when you say, hey, we're gonna have an announcement, insinuation is like a week to 2 weeks. So that's why I am thinking it could be a Disney thing, it could be a pipeline thing. Also, let's just be honest, COVID and production and distribution is still a legitimate issue.
Supply chain stuff.
There's also a very high probability that something went wrong in the pipeline, or everything's not finalized, or just something because of the state of the world as we are right now. Something got in the way, and they're not going to come out and say, well, someone got sick or something happened in the product line and we just don't have any information. They'll let us sit. We'll be fine. We'll survive.
See, what you said right there is actually really interesting, because I saw some people talking to community that, like Ravensburger has all the control over the game. It's like Disney just licensed the name to them, and they're just like taking care of everything. And like I think that was a debate of people talking about how successful Lorcana would be in the future, because some people like, oh, it's a Disney IP, but then some people like, no, it's a Ravensburger IP. They just borrowed Disney's name, and they say that that would make a really big difference. But it's really good to know that Disney does have their hand in the pot, I guess best way to put it, in a lot of the decision making, which does make it that they're in, I guess, they have their foot in the door a bit more than what people may be thinking.
Yeah. So think about it. Disney as a company is a bajillion-dollar brand.
Yeah.
And it's for decades a squeaky clean brand. You haven't really seen Mickey Mouse do anything inappropriate. Donald, Goofy, Minnie are all beloved. And that's because Disney has been so protective of their IP. If someone does something inappropriate, they jump on them. If someone tries to steal or duplicate, they jump on them. And every single game, video game, board game, now card game, if you go back and listen to game designers, like developers who talk about like Epic Mickey or people who worked for board games, they all say the same thing. Everything they wanted to do had to go through Disney because that is their bread and butter. If anything goes south with those characters, then it just tarnishes decades. I think they're doing a 100-year celebration. So it's been a lot of years, a lot of people, and they've done an exceptionally marvelous job of protecting the character IP. You'll never see Mickey Mouse like stabbing someone or
well,
like.
Well, I had to say one thing about that. Like, it's not because Disney created it, but like I think South Park, right? I think South Park's now under the umbrella of Disney Plus, and then they have some episodes of like Mickey doing some pretty outrageous stuff, like I think eating kids, or I don't know what it was, but it was like,
well, so that's parody.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think it's South Park. I think you're thinking about are the Simpsons, because South Park is not on Fox. That's Comedy Central.
Or I get, oh, it is maybe The Simpsons. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of The Simpsons.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So they didn't go too extreme. They just kind of like parody, made fun of Mickey a bit more than. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Never mind. Well, yeah.
The other thing is Disney's a smart company. A lot of people make fun of them. A lot of people take jabs. And it would be probably foolish to try and like wash that away from the history books. Like, people make comedic things because it's funny. It's somewhat true. And what does Disney care? They make more money than like half of us like in the world combined. Like they'll be fine.
I think they do a little bit of that though, because when they acquired The Simpsons, I think they removed the Michael Jackson episode from the roster.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think I remembered when Disney acquired it, everyone likes to nitpick about something and someone noticed it. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah. We're kind of going anywhere, you think?
Oh yeah. So back to Lorcana, we rabbit trailed a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's still Disney.
Just a wee bit. Yeah. It is kind of Disney, but it's fun to kind of hodgepodge.
Oh. 100%.
So I do believe that we will get some news. But I don't get the feeling it's going to be anytime soon, because they just generally once you have like a social media manager, they're going to show up somewhere on the internet and go, hey, it's coming soon. Like they're going to start hyping up, like stoking the fire, stoking the coals.
Yes. Yeah.
So right now the coals are kind of like they're on life support. Charmander is hanging out in the the rainstorm, holding the leaf over his tail, trying not to die. But I mean, like the state of Lorcana is fine. Like as a game, it's going to be fine. It's really interesting if people are speculating like, Lorcana's dead or Lorcana's doing poorly. It's like,
and it's only been out for 2 months since the news, so it's like, and it's not technically out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say we got 7 cards, and that was literally it. So it was basically like a super teaser trailer. Yeah. So there's no way to judge the state of the game, because what's interesting is if you speculate now, oh, the game's dead, and Ravensburger says in like December, January, here's a how to play video, and here's a teaser trailer, and here's the rules. Yeah. Everyone that was a naysayer is going to jump right back into the boat and go, Lorcana's alive. So I mean, like it's not dead, it's not alive, it's just announced.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good way to say it, because that's literally what we have. We have an announcement. Hey, Lorcana's here. Here's some cards. We'll see you soon. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's not really a game, but it's exciting. That's the big thing. There's hope, there's excitement.
Yes.
And now we wait. That's it. That's really all we can do is just wait and have fun while we're waiting. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. And that's kind of what makes the community fun is we're speculating like what cards do we want? What abilities do we want? What like how is the game going to play? And you know, although most of us are probably totally wrong, it's still fun to guess because it keeps that hope and that spark alive. And then when Ravensburger decides, hey, we're going to make an announcement, cool. We just grow from there. So we're setting that cornerstone realistically, and it's slow. It's not as fast as everybody wants, but that's okay because the game will come at the right time, and we'll be there, and we'll have fun. We'll play it, and we'll go to conventions, and you know, play online and talk more together. So also think about it.
I know you guys talked about it in a previous episode. So
everyone's like, we want to play at Disneyland. I'm like, if I'm paying that much money to go to Disneyland, I'm gonna ride some rides. Y'all can play. Y'all can play over there, but have fun playing, you know, your $120 entry to no, let's go ride like Splash Mountain or Space Mountain or Haunted Mansion. Let's have some fun, baby.
Yeah.
Or get some Disneyland churros. Ooh, so good.
Ooh, it's been so long since I went to Disneyland. So damn.
Actually, let's just go to Disney World. It's closer for you.
Is it closer? Well, it's Florida. Is it Florida?
Because Florida, you just go south. California, you have to go like southwest. Also, Disneyland, like California is way more expensive than Florida. I'll tell you what. Like astronomically.
That's true, but there's a lot more natural disasters in Florida. Does that affect it? No.
What? No.
That's not. See, I live in Ontario, which is like in the middle of the landmass, but not like where the tornadoes are and all that. So we barely have any natural disasters. So in my mind, if any small thing happens in the news, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like a huge thing. But then people's like, no, this is pretty common. I'm like, no, it doesn't sound like
that. They might get a hurricane or two a year, maybe. Yeah. But if you go during like winter, you're probably safe.
Yeah. So getting back to the Lorcana news topic, like my thoughts on it is very similar to yours. Like I think that they might be doing something maybe around like the Christmas time, maybe something like some kind of like special news, or like you said, maybe it's just going through the pipelines of what's going on there. And I think like there's a bit of like strategic timing as well, since Lorcana comes out fall of 2023, and we're in like a horrible. I'm going to use the R word, recession right now, although the definition's been changed multiple times now. I know, right?
Oh
no. I said it. Oh no, all the downloads.
Comfort levels are dropping.
But yeah, I don't think there's really a point in hyping it up, to be honest. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna hype it up and then no one's gonna buy it or like buy into it more, and you don't have an actual product. Like you said, there's only 7 cards out right now. It's like and some of those prices are like, well, it has been like this as well, right? So
so here's the counter argument. Let's say we're in universe 616, and this is a universe where Ravensburger announces Lorcana at D23 and then blasts us with all the information except maybe not as many cards. So I should clarify. So we get the 7 cards, so the 6 from D23 and the Mickey Mouse, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later, here's a how to play video. We get the rules on how to play, and then we get a video with a teaser video with some more cards in it, and then we wait for a year. Which is worse, having all the information you want front loaded, and now you are just stuck waiting 12 months? Or you wait a couple months and they drip feed a little bit, then you wait a couple months, they drip feed a little bit more, and you kind of progressively build up that knowledge versus boom, shotgun, here it is, everything you could possibly want. So I definitely know that, we're very much like a microwave society, and we're so used to like social media and everything just, being so quick and so fast. But I genuinely don't know if Ravensburger giving us all the details up front would be better for the game, because here's the thing. This is smart on their part. If they show off everything up front, people will be able to determine if they like the game or not. And so you instantaneously have people making a decision, yes or no, or maybe. Right now, everyone who's interested is interested. They're very interested. Yeah. Everyone else is just waiting. So no one has yet to say, no, I'm not playing it, unless they're just like anti-Disney. They're not interested in Disney, legitimate reasons. But for the most part, I think more people are interested in learning about Lorcana now with zero information versus here's everything, pick your stance. Yes, no, maybe so.
That's
so maybe it's on purpose, possibly.
Yeah. No. That's a good counter argument. And especially the part where like everyone's pretty much on board since everyone knows what Disney is, right? Like even a lot of people that I talk to, and they're just like, oh no, what's Lorcana, right? And I explain it to them. It's Disney. It's a new trading card game. It's being run by people that used to work for Magic the Gathering. And yeah, and they're just like, oh, okay, let me look into it, right? Type of situation.
Mhm.
But then of course they're like, oh, maybe I'll wait a little bit because the prices are crazy right now, and just get into it closer to release type of situation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The thing about Lorcana is like we kind of like have all the information. Like, what else can we really talk about? We can just speculate more, I guess, on the prices.
There's believe it or not, there's actually, I think, now I'm probably one of the weirdos, but I think there's actually a significant amount of content we could talk about regarding Lorcana. It isn't inherently related to like, it's not like touching Lorcana, but it's adjacent to Lorcana. So that's one of the things we've been doing with LorcanaCast is we've tried to avoid speculation to a degree. Like there's always gonna be some. But our first episode, we talked about like trading card terms, like fundamental terms.
Yes.
We talked about the secondary market, which it kind of helps explain why price points are so high and what's going to happen. Because right now, the secondary market is going to be a completely different monster than it is when the card game is physically in our hands to play with. So without having knowledge or experience with a secondary market, it would be easy to look at Lorcana and go, wow, it's just some kind of weird monster with crazy people. Because when it first came out, it's really expensive. Now it's not, but some cards are, but these cards aren't. But isn't that the same card? I don't understand why. So, they're trying to explain like, hey, a card with a D23 foil stamp is going to be expensive. A card that you pull in a booster pack, like, because they said all the cards that are foiled, that are promotional, that are at conventions will also be produced and printed in a booster set. So if you're if you're an average player, this is like your first trading card game ever, and you see on eBay one Mickey Mouse going for hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, and one Mickey, the exact same looking Mickey Mouse for $5, that would be confusing. But if you listen to the podcast, we explain, hey, this is a foil art, this is a foil card, it has a stamp that says D23. It's a first edition. This is the penultimate original card.
Actually, going on that subject, just in case the viewers actually haven't seen what a Lorcana card actually looks like. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to.
Oh, this is fun.
Open my little case of, this is where I put my PSA stuff. So this goes. It's not PSA graded, but yeah. So this is the Mickey card. So this is Mickey, Brave Little Tailor, and this is the LorcanaCast. Well, not LorcanaCast. See, now I'm promoting you now.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
The Lorcana back,
Yeah.
It's, so this is like, there's like, wow, this quality is really bad, but there's like a D23 stamp underneath there, and also says like first edition on there, which actually, you know what, some people are saying that when chapter 1 comes out, it might not actually say first edition on there.
It probably will. It probably
will, right? Okay. Do you think it's going to be kind of like Pokemon, where they did like first edition and then the non-first edition stamped ones, so they're going to do like unlimited versus the first print? Yeah, they'll do that too.
Okay, well, I don't know. Again, I don't.
I should rephrase the question.
No, you're fine.
You under the bus.
I do. The reason why I believe that is because they've already done it. So if they weren't going to do first edition printings for the regular booster set, why would they do it for D23? They would just have D23. Now, again, that's an opinion, it's a speculation, but generally when companies do event sets that have like first edition with stamps, kind of a hint they're probably going to do regular booster sets with a first edition, which means I'm clearly going to buy a box, never open it, and just throw it on my shelf for forever. But I don't see why they wouldn't, because like Pokemon's done it, Yu-Gi-Oh does it,
Metazoo does it.
Metazoo does it. I can't remember if Magic does it anymore. They used to.
I thought Magic, they just kind of used the different borders to kind of depict like alpha, right? No, that's a bit different.
Well, no, for alpha and beta, but like if you bought like a Brothers War booster box this Friday, I don't think, now of course people in chat will know, but I cannot recall the last time I saw a first edition stamp on a Magic the Gathering card. So I think they got away from that, but I could be wrong. But
leave a comment down below if you know.
Yeah. But like I do think that Lorcana will do it, especially since, now here's an interesting topic to talk about. Ravensburger purposefully made these collector sets low rare or high rarity, low print run. That was absolutely something they like
Yeah, that
chose to do.
and they even announced it, like how many they
Yeah,
did. Like they didn't do it for the Mickey, but they did it for like the sets, and like even on the
right.
BGS website of like, so it's like firm there.
Yeah. So they're smart. I don't think they're meant to like, push the price points of the cards where they are now
Yeah.
at the time of the recording, but they actively chose to create a product that is high rarity and extremely collectible.
Mhm.
So that would allude to the fact that they are, I don't know if pandering is the right word, but they're aware
Of
of the
the second,
collector
yeah.
market and they're engaging with it. They're interacting with it.
For sure.
So if they're willing to do that at the very first interaction we ever get with Lorcana,
Mhm.
then it would be really strange and almost disingenuous for them not to continue that and just have like unlimited printings and no extra rarities and no
No
foils. And
holofoil
it's
at
like
all. Yeah, exactly.
it would be confusing to me if they start off with, here's 900 of each, they're full art foils, first edition, D23 printing, and then for the next two sets, it's, common, uncommon, rare, unlimited, nothing special. Be like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
true. It might as well be a living card game type of situation, right? Or just be villainous. I think that's just villainous.
It would be confusing. So
Yeah. Mhm.
again, Ravensburger is very interesting. I feel like they've got a lot of writing on the wall between the lines. We just have to obviously speculate and try and understand what they're doing.
Mhm.
So I would not be surprised if there was a collector's something when they release these booster sets. We talked about this on LorcanaCast. It's going to be
Yeah.
in episode 2, which will be landing soon. But we talked about box toppers, which means if you buy a booster box,
Yeah.
there's a special card in addition to the booster packs.
Yes.
And that card comes from a smaller set of generally like full art foils, full art rares. It's maybe 10
Oh.
cards. And you get one of these 10 cards. And generally, because of their rarity and their foiling and their whatever, it's
Yeah.
extremely valuable and it's extremely collectible. So it
Mhm.
rewards the people who buy multiple booster boxes as opposed to people who just buy random boosters from Walmart or Target, or they go to their local game store and they say I'm going to buy 3 boosters,
Yeah. Yeah.
as opposed to someone who goes, hey, I'm going to buy the entire booster box, I'm going to give you a little bit more money, but in return I'm going to get a special
Yes.
collectible something.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
So
exactly what Metazoo did with their Cryptid Nation set.
yeah.
They did a box topper, and then you can only get like there's holofoil Terras in it, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. And then there's also a chance that you can get like the secret rare, which is like 1 out of 250 type of it. So it's like a serialized card.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess that would totally make sense if Disney did
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
The other big thing about Lorcana that makes sense is look at Pokemon. This is a great time to segue into Pokemon, which I love.
Oh yeah. Let's go
But
Charizards.
right.
Yeah.
So think about Pokemon trading card game. You have
Yeah.
common, uncommon, rare.
Yeah.
You have reverse holofoil,
Mm.
full art rainbow rare, full art gold
V-
secret rare. You
full
have
art
the
VMAX,
full art
alt
VMAX. You
art,
have the
alt art.
ultra
Yeah.
rares,
Yeah.
alt art.
Yeah.
So Pokemon is really interesting because all those words I said sound really scary. Like you're like Sugi, stop saying these words. To play competitively, you only need a common, uncommon, or rare. That's it.
Really? So like, does it like the move sets? They're the same on like the alt art version versus like the V mat or like the V version of the
Mhm.
card. Oh, okay.
Well, okay. So the V Maxes and the V Pokemon
Yeah.
are generally upper rarity, so they're like super or ultra, whatever the keyword is. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
remember for the life of me.
Yeah.
But there's all these different versions. So there's like the standard, basically like the set rare, and then
Mhm.
there's an alternate rare, and then there's a rainbow rare, and then there's a
Yeah.
secret gold rare. So all of those things above the set rarity are just cool foiled out cards.
Yeah.
They have the same text, same ability. The only thing is they're harder to find, they're more expensive to collect. So if you're playing Pokemon competitively, there are uncommon versions of supporters that are probably 20 cents.
Mhm.
And then there's the full art reverse holofoil rainbow rare that's like $50. And people go, oh my gosh, I have to have 4 of those. I'm like, wait. You can have 4 of the uncommon.
Yeah.
It'll cost you $1.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to foil your deck out and be a gangster, you can buy $200 for 4 cards. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is Pokemon has this obscene collectability for people who may not want to play, who
Yeah.
may want to spend a lot of money to bling out their deck. But as a player, you can have the exact same deck with the same functional cards.
Hmm.
It's just not as sexy and shiny and holofoil.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that Lorcana will do something similar where they have, uncommon, rare, like for example, think about the 7 cards we got.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Elsa. She's super cool, very popular.
Yeah.
So there's Elsa, and she's got, art around her border, and she's got line of text underneath. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a full art, maybe, reverse holofoil Anna or Elsa. I
Elsa.
apologize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elsa,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you could buy the standard Elsa, which I'm, guessing is probably a common or rare.
Hmm.
And that card's probably going to be, let's just speculate, 50 cents to $5,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Okay.
Not pricey. But the, alternate art, full art, foil rare might go for $20. So here's the thing. I'm a player.
Yeah.
I'll just buy the card I need to play my deck. So whatever the cheapest version is, if it's uncommon, 75 cents. If it's a rare, okay, $4 or $5, that's fine. But I know friends like, Jason, who's on the show, he
Hmm.
wants that $20 alternate art reverse
You
holofoil.
want to bling it.
He wants to bling out his
Yeah.
deck.
Nice.
So that's kind of the fun of Pokemon is it
Yeah.
hits a lot of different check marks because for
Mhm.
players, you can get a deck at a very affordable price. For collectors, you can collect all these super duper cards. You can buy booster boxes and crack them in the hopes of finding these really expensive cards because most booster boxes have a guaranteed rarity. So, for example, if you buy a box of, I know you were you're doing Metazoo, so you probably know what the
Yeah.
rarities are, but for
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering, you're guaranteed like 3 to 5 mythic rares. I
Yeah.
think it's like 36 packs in a box. You're guaranteed like 3 to 5 mythic rares, and then the rest are going to be regular rares. So you kind of know what you're getting when you buy a booster box.
Yeah.
Pokemon, I think you're guaranteed a ultra rare, and you're generally going to be able to find a secret gold rare like
Yeah,
most of the time.
it's changed now a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed like the ultra rares, but like secret rare, some people like open like 2, 3 boxes and they still don't
Mhm.
hit anything. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but before, yeah, for sure. People's like you're guaranteed one. That's why booster boxes were like a better investment compared to any other products because you're guaranteed at least one of the bigger hits.
Yeah, because like with Yu-Gi-Oh, you're guaranteed one secret, one to two, I think now. It's like one secret, one ultimate rare, 3 ultra rares, and like a bunch of supers. So like the reason why I sell these things for those of you who might be new to trading card games, if you go to your local game store, and let's just say I think a box of Yu-Gi-Oh is 24 packs.
Mhm.
If you buy 24 random packs, just literally random from a bunch of booster boxes, you literally get 24 random packs. You have no guarantee, no nothing. It's just 24 opportunities. If you buy a sealed booster box, the guaranteed rarity is fixed where you will, out of those 24 packs, you will get a secret rare, an ultimate rare, 3 ultra rares, so on and so forth. So this rewards people who spend more money. So a lot of people do this. They get paid. They go to their local game store and buy 5 packs.
Mhm.
And then they get paid 2 weeks later and they buy 5 more packs. And then they get paid 2 weeks later. So basically over the course of a month, they buy a booster box.
Yeah.
However, they get like random pulls and they're like, sometimes
Yeah.
it's better, sometimes it's worse. I don't know what's going on. Whereas if they had saved all that money, condensed it, and bought a booster box, sealed, unopened, all of the packs are in there, you're guaranteed a fixed amount of rarities. So that way, because you're spending more money, the company is going to say, hey, we're going to guarantee that you're going to get these hits. Now, we're not going to guarantee what cards you're going to get. We're just going to guarantee you're going to get a card in that slot. So, for example, say there's 10 secret rares, you're going to get one of those 10. And say there's 15 ultimate rares. Okay, you're going to get one of those 15 cards. So there's still a gamble, but instead of just randomly pulling 24 packs and maybe getting something or nothing, you're at least going to get something in that block of rarity, which is what I think Lorcana absolutely is going to do because people want to get cards that are cool. Collectors want to open booster boxes to get hits. And then trading and socializing is hyper fun. Like going to an event and like cracking packs.
Oh, I saw those like pre-release events. I thought like those. Well, I guess those are a bit different than cracking boxes. Pre-release is a little bit more like more of a gamble, or like buying like the sleeves and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
But I know what you mean. Yeah. So it's like a the communal like
Oh yeah.
feeling of it, of like opening and getting those hits around everyone. Yeah, like nothing like it, right?
Big dopamine flare in your brain. Like, oh my gosh, I got the super rare, ultra secret, hyper deluxe, Cruella de Vil with reverse holofoil and butt cheeks. Like, you know, whatever strange
Yeah.
thing they're gonna do. But it's important
Mhm.
because you need your game to hit multiple thresholds.
Yeah.
You need to have collectors, you need to have players, you need to have opportunities for younger hobbyists, newer hobbyists, older hobbyists. It's got to be something that brings people together, not ostracizes certain aspects of a community, because those games just do not survive at all. They never do.
Well,
So,
you know what? Now that a little bit, so segueing a little bit into Metazoo, it's actually the one game I think that really doesn't have that specific like what you're gonna get maybe in each booster box. For like Metazoo
really?
ones, yeah, they call it a true random. So it's like literally
Oh,
they mix everything. So you
okay.
could get a box of all full hollows, or you get a box of all reverse hollows, which are just the equivalent of just every pack contains a reverse hollow or a full hollow. So reverse hollows are the cheaper version of the full
Hmm.
hollows, right? And then they're kind of like what Magic did before, like they had the Power Nine, right? So like for the Cryptid Nation, the first set, there was like the Obnoxious Nine. So it's like those cards are only in full hollows. You know what? All the names are actually community made. So it's like,
Really?
yeah. And
Oh my God.
the second set, which is oh actually it's a Nightfall. So there was a I totally forgot the name for that one. I'm blanking out. But then for Wilderness, which is like the fossil set equivalent to Pokemon,
Hmm.
and WotC, they have like the Wild Seven stuff like that. So it's
Hmm.
like every set has a block of cards that you can only get holo foils, and those are like the actual hits. But you're not guaranteed of getting any of them and any of the products. So everything doesn't matter if you buy one sleeve booster, if you buy like one of the release event decks, which is kind of like a like the pre-release deck type of things. Like you're
Okay.
not guaranteed anything. It's literally all pure gamble, I guess, of trying to
Impressive. Okay.
yeah.
I did
So
not know that.
and then they also did like a Willy Wonka thing for like the wilderness set. They actually literally put like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. So there's golden tickets, silver tickets, and bronze tickets that you can
Yeah.
get from any product line. I think most people have found them in like not the booster boxes actually. So like the theme decks, and then yeah, so there's some random packs in there. And then for like the gold ticket,
Hmm.
they didn't announce what they're doing it, but you're supposed to be able to get some type of equity within Metazoo in the future because they were planning on going like public IPO, but then they kind of backtracked on that a little bit so that
Oh wow.
yeah, because they're still pre-IP, right? Like the TV show's still in production, the video game's still in
Hmm.
production, and that's going to happen like early 2023. But yeah, but like the silver ticket, you can get like a prototype Mothman. Mothman is like the Charizard of MetaZoo.
Okay.
So prototype Mothman, which is like a sample card,
Hmm.
which is like 1 out of 10 type of situation. And if you get the bronze ticket, you can get a Kickstarter Crypto Nation box, which is worth around like $5,000 type of thing. So,
What?
yes, yeah. So yeah, Cryptid Nation, there's different. There's Kickstarter Booster Box, which is number one, which is
Hmm.
technically the same as first edition base set Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then you have first edition, which is like shadowless, and then you
Hmm.
have second edition, which is like unlimited. So I guess that's how you place it.
Interesting. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to it, yeah. So there are definitely, I think, a lot of pluses of like you're guaranteed something,
Hmm.
but a lot of the community they really like opening it because you really have no clue what you're doing. Of course, like I opened that box and then I got two full hollows and 34 reverse hollows. So it kind of really stung a little bit because I'm like, oh, I spent some money on this and the box is worth like pretty much nothing because I didn't get any of the secret rares or anything either, right? But it was like a fun thing to do anyway. Like I opened it with my wife,
Hmm.
so it was like a shared experience type of thing. But
So imagine this,
yeah,
and this is something that makes me really, really, really excited, like genuinely giddy.
yeah,
I've opened booster boxes of products for years, like hundreds, thousands of cards, maybe even hundreds of thousands of cards. Probably. I'm looking at my set of Magic right next to me. I've got like
yeah.
20, 30,000 cards sitting there. Um, so when you crack a booster box,
Mhm.
and you're the person who bought it, it's really exciting because you get to see all these cards. So if you're, Pokemon player, Flesh and Blood players, Dragon Ball Super, whatever IP you're celebrating, you get to open these packs and find cards that you're looking for. The issue is most games, minus maybe Pokemon, are pretty niche. So like Magic the Gathering, if I show this to like my mom or my girlfriend or my brother, they're not going to know what a Jace Bellerin is, or a Wrath of God, or they're going to be like, I don't know, it's cool,
I totally know what they are.
yeah. So people who are in the trading card game system, they know what those are. But like if I show them a Yu-Gi-Oh, like IP Masquerade, or like what's a weird Pokemon that no one would necessarily, I don't know,
Snom.
Snom, something distinctly not a Pikachu or a Charizard. Most people are going to go, well, that's a Pokemon. I could tell. That's it. That's as far as you get. When you're cracking booster boxes with a Disney IP, most people are going to go, oh, is that a Mickey Mouse on a card? Is that a Goofy? True. Is that an Elsa? Wait, what is this? It's a trading card game. Seriously.
100%. Yeah.
Well, my favorite character is Aladdin. I pulled this Aladdin right here.
Oh, I can get Aladdin, and then they're gonna start wanting to get their own.
I can play with Aladdin. Do they have a genie? Yeah, I got the. Oh, so here's the super cool thing. I can crack packs and show it to my mom, girlfriend, brother, his wife, pretty much anybody, and they're gonna go, "Well, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
What do you play?
Sure.
So it's a really great way to bring people in, but it also makes the game enticing because we've already broken through that barrier of the game as a whole isn't segregating people out, where it's like, here's the Magic players over here, here's the Yu-Gi-Oh players over here, here's Pokemon players over there, here's the White Shorts players. And we kind of know fundamentally what a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh or a Magic is, but not necessarily like power level or the artwork. Again, if I show a Metazoo player a Jace Bellerin, they may or may not know what the storyline is. If I show them an Elsa, they're gonna be like, oh man, that movie was great. Or Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Super fun opportunity, because as you're cracking packs, people who are not necessarily related to the game are still ironically Lorcana adjacent, just because they've watched the movies, read the books, watched the television shows, they've got Disney Plus, they have kids, whatever it is. Most people in the world have some sort of accidental knowledge of Lorcana because it's Disney. And like, that's super cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I had the same conversation actually with my wife the other day when I was talking to her about Lorcana, right? She's like, oh, I'm not into card games and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, but this one's Disney. And she's like, oh, do they have Minnie Mouse? I'm like, yeah, they will have Minnie. They have a Mickey, so they have to have a Minnie. So she's like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So it's just, it was something I've never seen before, right? Because she is not like nerdy or geeky at all. So it's just it's kind of hard to share the hobby sometimes. So I'm pretty excited. Maybe like I'll buy 2 booster boxes. Maybe like I can crack one open and she can do one as well,
Yeah. Here's the other thing. People who crack booster boxes online, people who have no idea what a booster box crack is, are still able to have some investment because it's Disney. It's a really interesting paradigm because, like, again, if I say, hey, I'm cracking open a Pokemon booster box, is there a Pikachu? No. How about Charizard? No. Yeah, I don't know anything else. So you're instantaneously kind of removed from that conversation.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the new, because we're about to have Scarlet and Violet come out in the, I can't remember what the name of that region is. It's like a P something. Anyways, because we had like the Galar region with Sword and Shield, all kinds of stuff. Like if you're not in that ecosystem and you're not like super into the video games or just knowledgeable about Pokemon in general, you'll just look at that and go, that looks like a Pokemon or Digimon, and that's fine. Like that's how it is.
Oh, I think it's a Galar region.
Or Galar region is Sword and Shield.
Oh, Sword and Shield. Oh yes. You just said that.
So yeah. Violet and Scarlet come out on Friday, which is in like 3 days. I'm so excited, but I cannot remember the region. That's really annoying. People in chat can help me out. It's like Pan something. I don't know.
I just call it Italy. Like all the Pokemon looks like they're Italians.
But anyways, I know I keep reiterating this thing, but I don't know if you understand how a game being accessible to everyone means high potentiality of lifelong growth, because anybody can get into it.
Yeah.
So, you know, people who are younger, people who are older, people who this is their first trading card game, people who are experienced with trading card games, loved ones, partners, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, anyone you can show a card to and go, hey, here's an Aladdin card. You like Aladdin, right? Oh, wow, that's cool. How does that game play? And they try it out. And if they like it, great. If they don't like it, great. But at least you had the opportunity to get their foot in the door versus, you know, here's my, you know, super rare, hyper, you know, foiled out Lapras. Yeah, I don't know what that is. What's Pokemon? I don't care. I'm not, you know, well, okay, here's my full art foil, you know, Elsa. You can let her go.
Yeah.
Cool. How's
Let
that
it go.
play? Yeah.
That's great. I like that. The one thing is, I'm not sure, like, will the non-TCG people really be into it as well? Like, they would know what it is, but like you said, I guess it's a higher chance that they will actually buy a product. Like maybe if they have like an extra like $2-3 or something, and they're like, or if their kids are just like, oh, I just watched the live action Aladdin movie, maybe I can get like a Will Smith variant genie or something like that. It's like, and which I think that they will be doing. I think, like, I'm gonna say here, I think the alternate arts are gonna be the live action versions of the original. No. Well, I said it here anyway.
Please no, don't ruin my childhood.
Okay, oh no, I forgot Robin Williams version. Then there you go.
Oh, it's gotta be Robin. So good.
It's true.
Maybe like, you know, a different pose of art. I'm not opposed to like the live action movies. It's just I am so nostalgic for the animated films that I can't overwrite them with the live action. Like there's just I can't do it.
You know what? I actually was wondering if I should watch the Lion King live action one, and I'm just like, Lion King was my favorite movie growing up, and I'm like, can they like you said, like I just can't do that to my memory, to be honest. So I just decided not to watch it.
Yeah, no. Now I will say Rafiki card will be super sweet. I love him.
Is he pretty good in the live action, or you mean just like
no I haven't watched any of the live action movies. Like I can't do that, but I'm saying like it'd be funny if you have like, you know, Rafiki with a staff like whacking Simba on the head. That was like the artwork for his car, like womp.
You actually think that the artwork they're going to do is like some special ones, or are they just going to maybe like screen cap like the
I believe they said that all of the artwork is original, or a vast majority of it is original. Because if you look at the artwork for the cards we have now,
oh, that's true. They're
I'm pretty confident all of that is brand new. Like it's pulled from source material, but it's not a screen cap. Like these are artists they hired to duplicate, and boy, the artwork looks fantastic.
Yes,
I'm really excited to see what they came out with, because for 7 cards. That is a small sample size, and boy howdy, these cards look gorgeous. Like,
give kudos to their marketing team. They chose the good people to portray.
Yeah, their art directors good. They know what they're doing. But I mean, like, I think your wife is a great example. You said she's someone who's not a nerd, not a geek, not someone who's in trading card games, but has she agreed to maybe play a game of Lorcana with you?
Well, we don't know what the gameplay is yet, right? If it is like rock, paper, scissors, I think she would get into it.
Okay.
Like, but then I think she would actually, or at least like she enjoys kind of like opening packs in general.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't understand what she's getting.
Yeah.
And sometimes I kind of be like, oh, that's amazing. Like she got like a regular V card, right? But I'm like, oh wow, that one's shiny, so it's good. Yeah. But so just to get her more into it, and so that I can buy more cards.
Smart.
Yeah. Gotta think for the future. Yeah. But yeah.
But I think that's a great example to the potentiality of Lorcana. Everyone obviously isn't going to play it. It's not a game for everyone. But instead of automatically saying, I'm not interested, I'm not a Pokemon player, I'm not a Magic fan, or I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, most everyone's got a Disney character, a movie, or some kind of IP or media that they really have enjoyed as either a child or a teenager or adult. And so that's what gets me excited about Lorcana is you have the opportunity to have that conversation with your wife.
Yeah.
And she's open to the idea versus, hey, honey, you want to play some Magic the Gathering? No. Like just straight rejection. Not interested. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
And you know what? I'm going to do like, this is another idea for the Lorcana people if they ever like are watching this. like you can. I'm gonna be using the cards for, like, my daughter is 3 years old right now, so she hasn't really watched any Disney shows or anything like that. I'm gonna
Mhm.
teach her the different characters by showing her the Lorcana cards.
That's brilliant. That's smart. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
so
very
I'm,
smart.
because it's hard to get her to see like there's so many different Disney movies to look for
Hmm.
them. But if she always looks at that card or like holds it like on a car ride or something like that, like she's gonna be more attached to that character, and then it's easier for me to expose her to like the different Disney shows.
Right.
That, to be honest, like a lot of the kids nowadays, like I talk to my colleagues with older kids, like they still watch Disney, right? It's like Disney or Pokemon or Roblox or Minecraft or whatever, right? But yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's part of the potential I saw in Lorcana as well. When I first saw that, I can't not get into this. And then actually, so I'm actually gonna be on LorcanaCast a little bit later on. So likely in
Hmm.
December or January.
Yep.
And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Mickey card that I got. And just it was a tough decision that I had to make. But stay tuned for that LorcanaCast one. I'm not gonna say it in this video, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's a good story.
It'll be a fun conversation. We talked about this in private, so I'm really excited
Sure.
to hear you tell it. But again, we're gonna hype it up.
Yeah.
That episode will be in the next couple months, just because holidays, Christmas is right around the
Yeah.
corner. Thanksgiving is
Oh
like
my
next
god.
week. What the heck?
I already had my Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving was October.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we're like a week and a half away. I'm like,
But we get the benefit of Black Friday sales. Like we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in November, but
oh,
we still have Black Friday sales for some reason. Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah, it's good. Not complaining.
interesting.
But that's the thing. I really like talking about the positive and negatives. So
Yep.
we've been talking a lot about like Lorcana's going to the moon. Lorcana's going to do great, which I do think it will do great. But then like I do have a little bit of concerns that
Uh,
possibly might happen. One
okay.
of them being Disney, they have tons of app games, right? Like they have
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so there's so many. I had a friend that actually worked on one of them before. It was kind of
Hmm.
like a township version of Disney,
Hmm.
but it was just like you build like the festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like died down really fast. Like Disney like puts out a lot of money into different IPs and all that, right? And then I'm a little concerned that because like will that happen with Lorcana? It's
In what capacity? So, like, the way I'm hearing you say that is like,
yeah,
would they make a bunch of different apps? Then there might make a bunch of different trading
no,
card
no, no,
games.
no, no. It's actually the opposite. Like
Okay.
they left it in the hands of Ravensburger, right? And then it's kind of like if Ravensburger does hit like a hump in the road or something like that, like will Disney be there to support them, like getting through that, or will they be like, oh, we tried the TCG route, let's try something else now?
Yeah, they'll probably do that.
Yeah, they might, right? So that's the thing. So I know Ravensburger they have Villainous, which is pretty ongoing, pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah, like a lot of people that are speculating that Lorcana is going to do like super great long term and all that is going to be like, oh, Disney's name's on it. It's a TCG. It's going to be the next Pokemon. It's going to be the next Yu-Gi-Oh Magic type of situation. And sometimes it just in the back of my mind, it nips me a little bit. I'm like, what if like it's successful for the first year, but then the hype dies down or it like the next sets, which is really difficult to fudge up, I want to say, because there's so much content you can do with Disney, right? But yeah, I'm just like, what if like Disney kind of
Hmm.
just like puts it on the side and then it just kind of fades away like some of those app games.
It's a legitimate question. It's pretty much every business ever. Like, it's just the reality of life. I mean, you've got the Disney IP, you've got all these things set up for success.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all still human. It's still a company. No one is infallible. So yeah, I mean, absolutely, it could absolutely happen where Lorcana just bites it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a million and one other trading card games try and break into the industry. Now, of course, people are going to say, well, they weren't Disney. They didn't have Disney's backing. And I just want to remind people Disney is not producing the game. Ravensburger is
Yeah.
producing the game. Disney just said, hey, give us some money and you can use our likeness on your cards. So Disney has zero, for lack of a better term, proof of burden on this. They just said, hey, give us X amount of money. You can use our licensing. And if
Yeah.
everything fails, which I don't think it will, but if it does,
Yeah.
Disney still has their money.
True. Yeah.
Ravensburger is the one that has to burden and shoulder all of the pressure to have a successful game, successful printing, balancing, organized play, tournament. Ravensburger has to do all of the work. So when it comes to that conversation of, well, Disney's just going to do all these things, I think it's more of we need to interchange that Disney with Ravensburger,
Yeah.
because again, Disney could do literally nothing, and again, they have their money.
But
They've made their bank.
so it kind of goes back to a little bit of what we talked in the beginning, though. But then we did say that Disney was usually do like to put like their hand in a pot a little bit, right? So I guess it's very selective on how they are involved. Like they want to make sure that their IP is on the up and up. Like there's nothing strange about it, or like the likeliness is accurate. But I guess like on the operational side, it's a little bit that's just more on Ravensburger
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
So think about it. Disney doesn't have an R&D section or a playtest section or any of that. That's all going to be Ravensburger. Ryan Miller is not a Disney employee. He's a Ravensburger employee. So at the end of the day, Ravensburger is the one making all these decisions. Now, it's a company, so yeah, they could blow up. Not like literally, but I mean, they could get super big and become super successful.
Yeah.
Or, they could drown, not again, literally, but they could just be like,
Mhm.
someone did something stupid and the company folds, or they run out of capital, or I mean, there's a million different things that can go up or down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's an absolutely valid thought to say, hey, what if the game fizzles?
Well, actually,
Sure,
mhm.
it could, it very well could. I hope it doesn't, but at the same point, like, I'm a very realist kind of person, so
Yeah.
until I see the rules and until I see the plan for production and printing, because if they do something, I think this would be stupid.
Mhm.
This is my opinion. I think it'd be astronomically stupid if they had like 2 sets a year, because that means you have
Oh,
six
I know.
months. Yeah, like now I don't want Magic the Gathering where it's a set every month, but I liked the old Magic formula where it was once a quarter, because you had a box set, you had 3-ish months to figure it out, play it out. And
Yeah.
then about the time it kind of got stale and everyone figured out what the meta was, new set comes in, mixes things up.
Yeah.
So again, if Ravensburger says, hey, you get 1 set every 6 months, 2 sets a year,
Yeah.
I
But
don't, I don't know about that, man.
you don't want 100 secret layers in one year. You know,
I'm gonna ignore
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I
No,
think I think my headphones are not working. So hold on. There we go.
no, no,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Just but tying back Metazoo a little bit,
Yeah.
like that's what they do, right? It's like Metazoo actually does 4 sets a year. Well, 3 sets a year actually. So it's every 4 months they would have
How big are the
some.
sets?
They're pretty big. They're just kind of like Pokemon Fossil, Pokemon. Oh, you mean just like how
How
many
many how
cards
many
are?
how many cards are in the set?
Oh, 136 around. So it's like
Okay.
not like the what Pokemon does now, like with 300s with
Hmm.
reverse shiny versions of the cards that you have to collect and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. And most
Okay.
people kind of just go for like just not the master set because
Right.
it's almost impossible to collect master sets because you need the secret rares as well. So
Okay.
and every set has that. But it's been going pretty well. And there's also like subsidiary sets that they have. Actually,
Hmm.
this is kind of interesting. So MetaZoo is like a trading card game, right?
Hmm.
But this card they actually had they did this for New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, they did the eBay Live. So it's one of the first TCGs that went on that platform. And this is actually tarot cards. So this is not,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're not trading card games. Yeah, there are like trading card aspects in it. There's like eBay labeled booster
Hmm.
pack in here that they only
Okay.
have 5,000. And there's only 5,000 of these. So MetaZoo tries to make it very exclusive for these like limited drops, right? But
Okay.
like the booster box and this stuff, there's like 100,000 SKUs for each product. So they're like huge. There's a little bit too much to absorb. They have been scaling down a bit. Now it's
Hmm.
50,000 for the latest set seance.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's been working pretty well, I think. Like the hype comes up and then it dies down. And then like intermittently you have like kind of like the hidden fates or like the shining fates sets or
Yeah.
like the crown zenith that's coming out, right? So they
Yeah.
have those sets as well, which are these subsidiary products, which kind of like
Okay.
keeps you like consistently in the flow. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but yeah, I can't imagine if a TCG only has like 1 to 2 sets or main sets per year.
Hmm.
Like how do you sustain the hype for that? Yeah,
It's hard.
yeah, definitely.
Generally doesn't work. I don't. I don't foresee that going well. Now, if for some reason the Lorcana set is like 300-400 cards, that changes things, but that's also math. Again, we're speculating really well into the weeds because it's like, oh, we could do
Definitely, yeah.
one set, but it's like 500 cards. Well, no, I don't know. It'll take forever to collect.
And then
But then if it's like 1 to 2 sets that are small, it's also so these are all the potential things that Ravensburger could do to fail, which
yeah, but
based on their track record, I get a I'm comfortable feeling that their team knows what not to do and what
that
they should do for success.
no shots taken at Ryan Miller, so one of the creators of Lorcana, but then he does have a track record of a few TCGs in the past, right? Like he had like Duel Masters and he had like the previous Digimon and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say maybe hopefully he's learned from those experiences and maybe he can maybe tweak a little bit of what happened in those TCGs with Lorcana to make it a bit more livelier.
Yeah. So Ryan's got a really good track record for being in the market. That's good. Most of the card games he's worked on don't exist anymore. They're very small. Minus he worked on one of the commander sets with Magic the Gathering with WotC. Okay. So like I think he was saying he worked on the Zedru deck for commander. Anyways, like he's got experience working with the big companies, the small companies, the middle companies. But like you said, not all those card games exist. So hopefully he's learned. I think the biggest potential problem that could happen is one of two things. One, they screw up rarities for cards. And what I mean by that is if you want to play the game in a competitive fashion or just in any fashion, they do something stupid where you have like a secret rare you've got to have like 3 or 4 of, and you get like 1 per case, which generally a case is 6 booster boxes. And a booster box is on average 24 to 36 booster packs. So if they make the game inaccessible or quote unquote pay to win, where the people have the money can say, cool, this card that I have to have 4 of costs $100, I can pay for it. Well, now you have a problem where people who want to play are being ostracized because there's a threshold that they can't go through. Or it's just not fun because now I have to crack 300 booster packs to try and maybe find the card I want. And again, it's not even guaranteed. It's just a ratio. So that would ruin the game. So I think that the other potential problem that Lorcana could experience is balancing. And this is generally what kills trading card games. So if you look at Wizards of the Coast with Magic the Gathering, they have a huge research and development team, like multiple people. And on top of that, they have playtesters, pro players. They have a lot of people who are looking at the cards, going through them. They still make mistakes, but not very frequently. When you look at smaller studios or studios where it's like, their first foray into a trading card game, no matter how many people have experience on the team, it's still a small team and it's still their first print run of this game, i.e., in this example, Lorcana. That is where there is a high potentiality of error for just balancing, where, okay, hey, maybe a card gets through where it's like, costs 2-3 resources. When you play it, it hits the field, you draw 3 cards. That's insane. That is absurd.
Well, you can kind of backtrack on that a little. Oh, sorry for cutting you off. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
It's just like, so I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. Like you can still see my boxes there. So
I do,
like way back when. Don't worry, they're not sealed. I'm not that crazy. They're there. But it's like I remember Dark Hole and like Raigeki, and they have like even like Pot of Greed, right? So you draw 2 cards. Like they could kind of just put them on the ban list. Like I guess you could just kind of like, I remember the moment that I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Was when my 80% of my deck became banned in tournaments because they're just like it's too much. It's like Mirror Force, I had to remove Change of Heart, Monster Reborn. Like that was my deck. And then it was all gone. And I'm just like I can't relearn like all this stuff. And then at that time it was kind of like phasing out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And TCGs a little bit for me at that time. But do you think like that would kind of help Lorcana if they took that approach, just in case they're balancing, like hypothetical balancing issues occur?
It's a good question. So there's two camps with that question. So on the player base, like the competitive player base, we're going to be a little fussy about bad balance. But if they introduce like a ban forbidden limited list like Yu-Gi-Oh, that would help solve some of the problems. However, on the casual player side, on the collector side, that really turns a lot of people off because the cards you've pulled in a booster pack or traded for or purchased online or from another person, those cards are now either worth less money or literally worthless.
Yeah.
And that's a really feel bad moment because if you're not in the long haul and you're going for like that big competitive level, you generally have a very deep connection with the cards you have because these are your favorite cards. These are the cards you've searched for. You've spent your hard-earned money for them. And if Lorcana and Ravensburger says, hey, these are too broken, you can't play with them anymore, that just is a feel bad moment. And kind of like what happened to you left Yu-Gi-Oh because you didn't like the fact that your cards weren't playable. You didn't want to relearn the new meta. You didn't want to have to buy new cards.
Exactly.
So think about it. That would be very detrimental to Lorcana because that would just ostracize a big chunk of the player base if they say, yeah, maybe we messed up, but we're banning these cards. So the other thing is, having a large errata list of, the cards as printed are not what they actually do. That gets annoying. No game is perfect. By no means will Lorcana be perfect, and that's fine. Little mistakes are cool. But if the first set comes out or the first couple sets come out and there's a very clear power issue of, these are the decks. And if you don't have those cards and you don't play those decks, you just can't win. That becomes a problem because now there's not deck diversity, there's not player diversity. You either play what's the best and the most efficient or you lose. And nobody wants that. You want a healthy meta with multiple options, multiple play styles, multiple decks, so that you can express yourself in the deck archetype that you want. If you don't play these two, you're gonna lose. Well,
that is, but
I don't want to play that game.
I think that's really tough to balance though, because I remember like when Fusion Strike came out, apparently like the Mew in that one was like if you didn't have that Mew, you lost. It's kind of, but I don't know how they fixed it. I think they made like Arceus more overpowered, so like you could play Arceus against the Mew or something like that. Like
they kind of power well, they didn't power creep it. They just printed answers to it. So Mew is a psychic Pokemon, so I think he's weak to dark. So they created a bunch of dark Pokemon that could eat it. Then they also created like a bunch of other. I think there's a Genesect. No, the Genesect actually helped support that Mew. What else did they do? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's other deck archetypes that can counter the Mew. So I mean, Pokemon pivoted. There was a time where that deck was extremely prominent. However, the collective competitive scene found answers in other decks that could stand up to Mew. So it was good, but it wasn't like the de facto deck that was 100% win rate. It was beatable.
It was just at the time. It's like fresh and new. No one had an answer yet type of situation. So traditionally when a new set comes out for any trading card game, aggressive decks, aggro decks, rise to the top because they're extremely simple, they're extremely fast, and no offense to aggro players, but they're generally the most simplified ways to win the game. So that Mew you're talking about just basically had an ability that stated, I do a bunch of damage if you do this thing. Fulfill this piece of text, deal insane amount of damage. Okay, that's a lot easier to build a deck around than some of the decks that came out that were like 4 or 5 cards to combo together to one-hit KO the Mew, where you have to have the supporter, you have to have this Pokemon on your bench, you have to play this item, you have to have this like checklist of things. So that's just kind of a standard for all trading card games. Aggro decks just instantaneously rise to the top for the first month because it's just, hey, this thing is big, this thing is cheap, this thing is scary, cool. Throw as many as I can in and kill you. Then after that deck rises to the top, people go, okay, how do I beat that? And then you start to see control decks, mid-range decks, combo decks, anti-meta decks. So then those rise to beat the aggro deck, and then the aggro deck falls out of favor. And so you have like this new control deck or this new mid-range deck, and so people go, okay, how do I beat that? And so now you're starting to field this like 3 to 5 deck meta where Mew beats Genesect, Genesect loses to Persian gets beat by Arceus, so on and so forth. So you're right. When it first came out, it was the aggro deck of like, here, I slap this down, put a bunch of Pokemon on my bench, you're dead. And then people figured out, oh wait, there's a stadium that kind of helps slow that down. There's a supporter that helps me speed up, and so it kind of figured itself out. And then the next set had a bunch of cards that were like, hey Mew, beat it. So it progressively See, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not even I don't even think that deck is on the radar in like the top three anymore.
See, what you just said actually helped me understand a lot more. Like for Metazoo, the competitive scene, there's a deck that pretty much just keeps winning all the tournaments. It's kind of like it's called it's like a lightning aura deck. So you have like a card called Quetzalcoatlus, and then there's a card called Power Up Red, which gives you like additional attack power and more health points onto Quetzalcoatlus, who has first strike, which means that he can attack before anyone else, and it has flying, so it can kind of like magic. Yeah. So yeah, you can imagine. And then like subsidiary cards is like it's called Hornets, and then they're like tokens that you can put on very cheaply, like acting as like a shield, pretty much for
Nasty,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that deck has just won so many tournaments, right? Like
Hmm.
people like there were people that were trying to find an answer to it. There was kind of like a water aura deck, which
Hmm.
kind of is more control. So you have
Hmm.
like Loveland Frogmen, which kind of like gives like confusion. It allows like more milling of decks and all that stuff. And then milling just means like make your opponent kind of discard cards and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Well, I'm just saying for the audience in general. But yeah, but like it still like the top 12 players, like they're all
Hmm.
lightning. So some of the competitive play, it is a little, I want to say a bit boring, I guess, come
Stale.
a bit stale come like the finals and stuff like that, because it is a lot of just that deck versus that deck. Metazoo has been trying to balance it. Like with the new Seance deck, they really try to pump up the Dark Aura and oh crap, I forgot the psychic version of it. But yeah, it's like psychic and Dark Aura
Hmm.
archetype, and then they really try to like go around that type of situation. But I don't know how that's working right now. The next tournament hasn't started yet, but it's likely going to be like the same winners from the previous ones, because they just have so much know-how on how to play that lightning deck. And and with Metazoo coming next year, they have another, it's called Casters Cup, which is like the grand finals type of
Hmm.
situation. It's going to be like a $1 million prize pool. And yeah, they're putting a lot, like the last one, it was like, I think it was
Ooh.
like $500,000 prize pool. The first place got like 200,000. Second place got 100,000. Yeah. So that's, they try to draw in people with like the in the competitive scene a little bit with that.
How's this game sustaining itself? Not even Magic is doing that.
I
That's
know that's the thing.
crazy.
When I heard then I looked into like the different Pokemon like tournaments and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, you only win like 5,000 or 10,000 or something like
Hmm.
that, or even a high end like 50,000. I'm like, Metazoo already jumped way up there into the 100,000s, and yeah, so they did have like a little bit of a issue with some Flesh and Blood players that were like almost top of the Flesh and Blood rankings and stuff like that, but they had to it's not banned them, but there was some kind of like altercations that which made things unfair, I think.
Hmm.
And then like the only way was to like not let that person continue, not because he was too good or anything like that, but I think like he knew some loopholes that were in like different TCGs and stuff like that. And there were actually banned players from like Flesh and Blood and Magic the Gathering ban list that got automatically banned from the Metazoo tournaments as well, type of situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting competitive scene. Like I don't know too much about like gameplay too much.
Hmm.
Um there is something called like metazoologists, which are the judges. I think Pokemon also has that, right? Like any game has like judges that
We have professors, yeah, for Pokemon.
professors. Oh yeah, yes. I actually met one of them at my LGS, and he sounded pretty cushy. Like he said he got like paid flights to like the tournaments and stuff like that to judge like regionals, and it's it's interesting. I didn't know that.
If you're a higher tier judge, yeah, they
Yeah.
take good care of you.
Yeah. But yeah, so metazoologist, so even me and you, like if we take an exam, we can become a judge type of
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there are there are like safeguards during gameplay, and there are people that know a lot about like how to interpret the games, but it's kind of complicated because of the fourth wall aspects. Like fourth wall just means that I don't know, if I suddenly say oh, like that's like that was my turkey gobble, by the way. That doesn't mean anything else. Like one card might say you'd have to do that noise in order for the effect to happen, type of situation.
Hmm.
And that becomes like kind of like wishy-washy. And they do have like something called like you can only bring four fourth wall effects. Like you can bring like a rock, you can bring like a balloon for certain cards to activate their ability. So
I summon rocket attack mode and I punch you in the face for 3,000 damage. Wait, what? Ah! Oh my gosh.
exactly. No. Um, but yeah, it's kind of complicated. I think it's hard to balance, and I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot where I was really going with that, but I think it was just like interesting that
Hmm.
there are so many different type of gameplay that like I guess Lorcana can actually go with if they really wanted to make like a more interesting competitive scene.
Yeah. What we were initially talking about was opportunities for failure,
Ah,
which
yes.
every business has to attack. They're constantly faced with these, questions and difficulties and challenges. And so, yeah, like you brought up a great thought that
Mm,
Lorcana could fail.
yeah.
Lorcana could also succeed. Like it's an interesting scale because it keeps sliding back and forth on,
Yeah.
depending on your perspective, what you want out of the game, what you don't
Yeah.
want out of the game. Your there's so many different variables. There's literally an infinite amount of possibilities for each person
Yeah.
to look at Lorcana and think, I want it to succeed. I don't want it to succeed. I want to just play it. I mean, and that's what's interesting is,
Yeah.
yeah, it could fizzle. I don't think it will,
I don't
but
think
I,
so
I,
either.
I always have a hesitation because, you know, it's a game and it has no established market. Like, sure, Disney's the IP. Cool.
Yeah.
And it's Ravensburger. They have great games.
Yeah.
But again, we've seen that combo before with other games where it's like, lots of experience, lots of money, great IP. Okay, cool. Well, it's fun.
Yeah. Or it's just like
Uh,
hyped up for a little bit. Kind of like My Hero Academia and even like the new One Piece that came out, right? Like there was so much hype behind it, but I haven't heard too much from people. Like I still see people
I don't
like,
I don't think One Piece is out yet. It's like coming out
oh, no,
soon.
no, 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 it's out. It's a
Oh, it is
Romance
out? Okay.
Dawn. Yeah, yeah. It just
Okay.
came out like last month or something like that. But
Okay.
I don't know if there's too big of a competitive scene yet. But people are just really excited to pull the One Piece characters that they like, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like part of it that's going to be Lorcana's appeal as well. You know, like we were
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah. But at the
Hmm.
same time, like you said, Digimon kind of failed, like other big titles type of situation, which is it's hard to navigate. I guess it's just risk management, right? It's just what do you think
Yeah.
will occur in the future, possibly.
The only really scary potentiality that I could feasibly see happening is Disney pulls out. And that's what happened to Netrunner with Fantasy Flight Games. The game was doing it wasn't like gangbusters, but it was doing fairly decently. And then they had all these plans for like a new starter set, a new set release, and all these things. And then they're like, "Game's dead. We're closing it down." And from what we understand, I don't know if this was verified or not, but I think if I remember correctly, Wizards of the Coast took back their licensing for Netrunner because Fantasy Flight basically did the exact same thing that
Yeah.
Ravensburger did. They signed a contract, they got the licensing rights to use Netrunner's likeness, name, title, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then it just was gone. I mean, think about here's a great example we all know about the Star Wars CCG from Decipher. They had this amazing game, everyone loved it, super hot, super popular, going way to the moon. They
Yeah.
lose the license, and then they turned it. They took the game skeleton,
Yeah.
rethemed it to something else, and it was dead. Like the IP makes
Yeah.
and breaks games. So we've seen this happen. Now, of course, Disney didn't control Star Wars at the
Yeah.
time of the
Mhm.
Decipher trading card game, but we've seen games with big IP, big company, big licensing, and then oh hey, no more license. Oh, so I'm not saying Disney will, but I am
Yeah.
saying that it's happened before. And so of all of the potentiality, for all the way from, exploding and being lit on fire to, you know, turning into a rock, the most likely thing to happen is Disney pulling out the license and saying, we're not interested or we're done or whatever reason they do.
Yeah.
So that is the thing that legitimately is in the back of my head constantly when people are like, what could make this game fail? And Disney just stops.
Yeah.
Or Ravensburger does something that ticks off Disney, and they're like, "Cool, not you."
But they do have a good working relationship, which I think kind of mitigates that a little bit because Villainous has been pretty successful, and Disney at least hasn't pulled out yet from that IP.
It's true,
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean they won't.
that's true. Yeah,
If
anything could
we're
happen, right? Yeah.
like the one person you really don't want to tick off is the person who makes that decision for licensing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because they're a human being, and just like all human beings, they just might have a bad day, and you did something wrong, or I don't know. Again, I really don't think anything's wrong with Lorcana. I don't think it's going anywhere. But of all the potentiality, I mean, Disney's the thing that scares me more than anything else. If we're
Yeah.
talking about like, what is the reality of failure? Probably like 1%, honestly, but still, it's a percent.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. And I think it's important to talk about, right? Like, I know everyone's really excited about Lorcana and it has so many positives, but yeah, I think it is good to just talk a little bit about the potentiality on the other side, right? So,
I think the best takeaway, regardless of, if you're pro Lorcana, con against Lorcana, neutral, whatever you want to be, is if you're interested in Lorcana, the best possible thing you can do is vote with your money
mm,
at your local game store. Because if the first set goes really, really well, and local game stores order a million booster boxes and they're able to liquidate that amount of product and people are playing the game, talking about it on social media, we're making content with as creators and everyone is really hyped and excited, that sends a message to Ravensburger, who they then translate up to Disney and say, hey, here are numbers. And that is something Disney loves and they're not going to argue with. They're going to go, hey, you did really well, let's keep moving forward. If we as a collective community go, nah, I'm not interested, I'll buy it on the Amazon, or I'll just wait until it goes on sale, or try and find a deal, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad
yeah.
thing, but initial print runs, initial weekend sales, first monthly sales, that is really important to companies because they look at that and they gauge popularity, product desire, people's interest in the game. So if you can, it's better to at least put your front foot forward to
Yeah.
help tell Ravensburger and Disney we're interested. And then maybe on the back end, try and find a sale or, a discount, but at least up front, go for it.
Well, due to some technical difficulties that we may or may not be having, um, I think it's a good place to end the video. I just really wanted to thank you for coming on, Sugi, and I'm really excited to get onto LorcanaCast in the future. And is there anything that you want to say to the viewers about where they can find you, what additional content that you have out there in the interwebs, or anything like
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Well, I mean, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun. I'm really excited to have you come onto the podcast, and we won't have to worry about video technical difficulties because there is no video with podcasting.
That's awesome. When I heard that,
So
I'm just like, what? I don't have to put on my makeup now.
no, you get to sit in like your pajamas. You don't have to wear a shirt. I mean, you can have your fan
Nice, nice. Yeah.
blasting, get your cup of coffee. But yeah, my name is Sugi. I'm a part of the LorcanaCast team. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at LorcanaCast. We are your premier Lorcana podcast, and we have just had a ton of fun. So if you're interested in more information about Lorcana specifically, you can check us out there. There'll be a link in the show notes, and it's a family friendly show. We've got a team of 4 guys who got an eon of experience. We've got people who are playing competitively and judging competitively for like Flesh and Blood. We've got some of our team members who are competing at regional levels in Dragon Ball Super, ex Pokemon players. Like we've got a great camaraderie. And what's mostly interesting is we're all interested in Lorcana for different reasons. So we've got, fathers who want to play with their kids. Myself and Jason want to play competitively. We're all Disney fans. Some of us are collectors. Some of us are more on the player base. So we have a really wide range of thoughts and philosophies that really make the show interesting because we're not coming at it necessarily as a competitive group or as a collector group or as a casual group. We're just kind of coming together with so many different aspects that any single person who wants to listen is more than welcome. And I think we'll have something for you to enjoy.
Oh, for sure. I 100% like follow your episodes every week, and it's definitely like it doesn't feel long at all. Like some of the videos are what like they're like 45 minutes, right? And it feels like I'm just like,
Mhm.
like where's the next episode? I have to wait until next week, one of those feeling. So yeah, definitely definitely check Sugi and his merry band of men. Can I say that? Is that like a
Yeah.
Robin Hood reference? Did I get that right?
Yeah. We're men. We're men in
Yeah.
tights.
Exactly. They do some singing, possibly sometimes, you know.
That's on the docket. Don't worry.
You know what? Maybe we could do that next time, you know. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
spicy.
yeah.
I
But
love it.
yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a comment down below of what you thought of our video today and just Lorcana in general, or if you're some of the Metazoo peeps, what you think about Lorcana, or what you thought about our discussion of Metazoo and how it's comparable maybe to Lorcana and the other TCGs. Please leave a like for the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, keep on casting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.